Inside the mine, while Jacob patched the broken beam with salvage scrap, Leary stirred and spoke softly, as if in a dream. "I remember the stars before the fall," Leary murmured, their voice echoing faintly in the tunnel. "My people, we were dreamers once, not warriors. We traveled to learn, to understand life beyond our own." Jacob sat beside them, his muscles aching from digging. "What happened?" he asked gently. "We found something on a dead world. A monolith, older than anything we'd seen. It contained knowledge. A map, coordinates to other sentient races. One of them was your kind. And the Nadrin? They followed. They feared what we'd uncover. They want to silence civilizations before they can rise. We were a warning to others, a demonstration." Leary's eyes dimmed with sorrow. "I watched as my ship was torn apart. I saw friends disintegrated before we crashed. I was only saved because I was in the pod already. A coward survival." Jacob shook his head. "That's not cowardice. That's fate giving you a second chance." A tremor ran through the mine again. Sand dust fell from above. Far outside, the sound of low, grinding engines echoed across the dunes. "They're coming back," Leary said, sitting up weakly. "They figured out the decoy." Jacob tightened his fists. "Then we'd better be ready." They didn't sleep that night. Jacob wired a series of mining charges he had found deep in the tunnels, rigging them to collapse sections behind them as they moved. Leary interfaced with the escape beacon, optimizing the signal burst. "It must be strong enough to break through their dampeners," Leary explained. "If it doesn't, no one will hear it. Not even my own kind." Jacob stared at the display. It was almost like a heartbeat, pulsing with hope. Outside, clouds gathered unnaturally fast. The sky turned purple and electric. "They're using atmospheric scramblers," Leary said, trying to disrupt long-range transmissions. Jacob didn't hesitate. "Then we launch it now." Leary gave a slow nod. "Once the pulse is sent, the signal will be traced. They'll come. We must be far from here." They launched the beacon atop a rock spire miles from a mine. Jacob and Leary watched as the sphere rose, hovering, then unleashed a flash of brilliant blue into the sky. Moments later, alarms from Leary's device flared. "They're coming!" And they did, fast. 3 dark ships streaked across the sky, like spears of shadow, trailing black fire. One broke off from the formation and descended toward them. "Run!" Jacob shouted. They barely made it over the ridge when the spire was obliterated in a red beam, sending rocks flying. Jacob covered Leary with his own body as debris rained down. Secondary signal reached orbit. Leary gasped, staring at the device in their hand. "Help may be on the way." Jacob coughed, standing with scraped arms. "We need cover. Back to the mine." But this time, the Rathian weren't content to scan. They deployed soldiers. Tall, skeletal machines moved with terrifying precision across the sands, weapons integrated into their arms, their faces blank masks of onyx. "They've begun their purge," Leary said, panic breaking through their voice. Jacob helped Leary up again and said, "Then let's give them a reason to stop." Inside the mine, Jacob led the machines into trap after trap, detonating supports, collapsing tunnels, ambushing with rocks and debris. It wasn't enough to stop them all, but it slowed them. Enough. Leary reached the core chamber of the mine, where the last of their technology hummed at full charge. "If I overload this," Leary said, pointing to a small silver disk, "it will release an energy burst that will wipe the Hunter drone systems." "You'll fry your circuits too," Jacob said, realization dawning. "Yes, but I can shield you from it." "No," Jacob growled. "We're both walking out of here." Leary paused. "You don't understand, Jacob. You're kind. You're brave. Your people deserve a future. My time ended when my ship fell." Jacob looked away, fists clenched. "I won't lose you too." Just then, the walls cracked. The largest drone emerged, forcing its way into the chamber. Its weapon locked onto them. Leary touched the disc. "I'm sorry." A blast of energy erupted. Jacob was flung back. The drone crumpled mid-step, its light extinguished. When the ringing in his ears stopped, He crawled toward the dim figure lying still on the floor. Leary, Leary. Their eyes fluttered open, barely. Signal, reached, allies coming, Leary whispered. Don't talk, Jacob said, pressing their hand. Just hold on. Outside, a thunderous boom shook the earth. A ship appeared, sleek and radiant. Unlike the dark harbingers of the hunters, a new vessel descended from the stars, its hull gleaming with flowing light. From its ramp, two beings emerged, taller than Leary, regal, glowing softly. They ran to Leary. We heard the cry, one said. We came. Leary smiled weakly. Jacob saved me. Jacob backed away, overwhelmed with emotion. The second alien nodded at him with reverence. You showed compassion in the face of extinction. You may have saved more than one life today. They lifted Leary gently, cradling him in energy. As they boarded, Leary looked back at Jacob. Come with us. Jacob hesitated. My place is here. Leary nodded slowly. Then watch the skies. One day we'll return. The ship lifted, vanishing silently into clouds. Jacob stood alone in the wind. The desert was quiet. But somewhere out there, across galaxies, a friendship forged in sand and stars now lived on. And he would never forget the voice that called to him. Please, open